What an amazing book. Look, You Might Be From Canada If. It has been put together by Michael DeAtter, and he is with us right now. Michael, how are you?
I'm great.
Wonderful to have you. Okay, so you're with MacIntyre Purcell Publishing.
Yes.
Okay. Tell us about this book. Obviously, with Canada's 150th, this is perfect timing, and I absolutely love this. So what was the inspiration behind this?
Well, MacIntyre Purcell called me to do, a few years ago, You Might Be From Nova Scotia.
Okay.
And they wanted me to draw it, and I said I don't just draw, I draw and write my own stuff. So I ended up doing You Might Be From Nova Scotia and a couple other You Might Be books. And this year, it's Canada's 150. It seemed to make sense to do the big one.
Okay, so how long would it have taken you to put this together then?
That was about 9 months from conception to finish.
9 months. Because I know we have a few of the what would you call them? Would you call them cartoons?
Yeah,
Would you call them,
cartoons.
I know we have a few of them. We're going to show them as we go here, and it just seems like one of these alone would have taken forever.
Well,
there's a lot of detail put into these.
There's a couple that actually took a week each. A lot of the cartoons took about an hour, but there are a few that, you know, just never seem to end.
Yeah, okay. Which ones would have been the ones that would never seem to end?
There's cartoons of the comedians where I had to do about 34 comedians. And
I know that one's towards the end of the book.
Yeah, and about 40 those two there, those were a week each.
That would take quite a while. What would be the inspiration? Like, obviously, you're looking for ideas. You probably, you know, been on this earth as long as you have. You've been a Canadian as long as you have. What would jump into your head to make you think, you know, I'm Canadian because of this?
You know, I started off with common experiences. Like, the way I approached the book was to start off with common experiences and then move from that to more things that you might not expect, or I hope that you might not expect. You know, common experiences like Mr. Dress-Up, or you know, the Canada-Russia series, or you know, the obvious ones that have to make the book. The Beachcombers.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm dating myself.
You didn't draw a relic in here, did you?
Yes, I did.
Did you? Did I
yes,
miss that one?
I think you must have.
Okay, I'll find it. Amazing. Yeah.
And you know. And as I kept making a list, the list kept getting longer, and as I drew, I'd check off what I'd done, and at the end I had more than 120, and I whittled those down to the ones I thought define Canada, or hope to.
So how many are in here?
120.
There's 120.
There's actually 121, because the last one is a Tragically Hip lyric flag that I did a few months ago.
Because I do know that so we've got the Tragically Hip flag with Tragically Hip lyrics, and you even have at the bottom dedicated to Gord Downie.
Yeah,
which is wonderful.
Oh, thank you.
That's an incredible thing. Are there any that you did leave out that you would have wanted to put in? Like, were you limited to 120?
I was limited to 120. No, not really, because it was more of a struggle to get to 120. Now, I did do more, but some of them were pretty weak, so when I pulled one out, I considered it weak, I didn't feel like it needed to be in the book.
Okay.
But since then, I've thought of a few that probably would have may make a sequel if I was ever going to do that.
You probably could make a sequel, I mean, with the ones you pulled out, probably because, I mean, artists are usually sometimes hard on themselves.
Yes.
And maybe the ones you pulled out were magnificent, right?
There's nobody harder on themselves than me. Yeah. Yeah. They probably weren't all that bad. I mean, some people, like I had a committee of friends that I showed, and they didn't mind them whatsoever.
That's wonderful. Obviously, you were talking about different cartoons that are like we all experienced when you're talking about the Russia-Canada series and all that kind of stuff. Wayne Gretzky being traded, I saw that one. Are there some of these that speak to you more than others, like you personally?
Yeah.
Like the Canadian Tire money that we saw in the
Well,
screen,
I have a big wad of Canadian Tire money, and that was my drawer.
So, was it your drawer?
Yeah, it was my actual drawer of Canadian Tire. I didn't have a wad quite that big, or I would have.
It would have cashed that in.
I would have cashed that in.
Yeah. Okay. But are there ones that spoke to you that were more about you? Like, is there any maybe some like what do you call that? Like just sort of ones made for you or your family that only you'd understand?
Well, there's none that only I would understand, because I've quit. Part of the process of coming up with the book was make sure that I wasn't doing You Might Be Mike DeAtter if, you know what I mean?
Okay,
instead of You Might Be Canadian if, or from Canada if. But there are a few, like, there's some that don't even speak to me. Like, my name's Mike, and the Romper Room woman said my name almost every week.
Yeah,
but the cartoon the
didn't say your
cartoon is
name.
she never said your name.
Interesting. Do you have a favorite drawing, though, of all the ones you've
Well,
done?
the Fathers of Confederation was one because, it was a big drawing. I drew all 37 Fathers of Confederation only to put numbers by them and say,
Wow.
some guys, the joke is you might be from Canada if you only know one Father of Confederation.
Yeah.
And it's Johnny MacDonald, of course.
Oh, of course, yeah, I did see that, where
Yeah.
everybody else you don't know, but there's Johnny MacDonald with the sideburns, and we're good to go.
I think everybody in that picture had
Had
big mutton
sideburns.
chops.
Very funny book, but there's some serious subjects in here as well.
Yeah. There's the Oka crisis. I mean, that was a defining moment for Aboriginal people in this country, and of course, there's the poppy, which was a Canadian concept,
Of course.
and Dieppe and
Yeah.
D-Day.
Yeah. Quebec referendum.
Quebec
and all that,
referendum.
yeah.
It's kind of hard to do a book that's completely fun when you do have to hit upon a lot of subjects.
Yeah. Canada's 150th, of course, this year. Where's the best place to get this, Michael Dieter?
Well, I'd say just about in every bookstore, small or big.
That's wonderful.
It seems to have hit them all in Canada.
Perfect. You might be from Canada if. Pick it up and check it out today. An amazing book by Michael Dieter. We've got more Daytime Ottawa coming up.